Have you ever said exactly the right thing, but gotten completely the wrong reaction? Well, today we're going to dive into this really powerful idea. How you say something often matters so much more than what you're actually saying. It all comes down to your method, your approach, your tariqa. Seriously, think about it. Have you ever told someone the stone-cold truth, something you knew was a fact, only for them to get totally bent out of shape? It's so frustrating, right? Well, odds are the problem wasn't what you said. It had everything to do with how you said it. And this isn't just about being polite, It's about a fundamental rule of how we connect with each other. All right, to really bring this to life, let me tell you a classic story. It's about a man who wants to know his future and two predictions that are, believe it or not, identical, yet worlds apart. So just picture this guy. He's anxious, he's probably a little scared about what's coming, and he seeks out this famous astrologer. He sits down, his mind is racing, and he asks the one question that's been keeping him up at night. Tell me my fate. The first astrologer, he looks at his charts, gets all serious, and says, just totally blunt, you will watch all your family members die before your eyes. Oof, what a blow, right? The man is just devastated, so he goes to get a second opinion. The next astrologer looks at the very same charts, but this time he looks up with a smile and says, you will have the longest life in your family. And the man, he is overjoyed, so relieved, and he showers this astrologer with rewards. Now just pause and think about that for a second. Both astrologers said the exact same thing. The fact underneath it all was identical. The only thing that changed was the method, the delivery. One focused on loss, on pain, and it was just brutal. The other, he chose to focus on a celebration of life. One created fear, the other gratitude. And this isn't just some old fable about fortune tellers. This principle is everywhere. Let me give you another powerful example that shows how our method can totally change how people see our expertise. It's the story of one patient and two very different doctors. Okay, so a patient walks into a clinic not healing great. The first doctor he sees is brilliant, an absolute genius. Just by looking at the way the patient walks in, he knows exactly what's wrong. He immediately grabs some pills, hands them over, and says, here, take these, you're good to go. Super quick, super efficient, but how do you think that made the patient feel? Well, the patient's mind starts spinning. He's thinking, this doctor's a fraud. He didn't even check me properly. The doctor's incredible skill, his years of expertise, were completely wasted, totally undermined, all because his method felt cold and dismissive. He failed to build the one thing that matters most in that moment: trust. So the patient goes to a second doctor. This doctor invites him to sit down. He starts by asking simple questions. So, tell me, what did you eat yesterday? How'd you sleep last night? Then he does a proper checkup, listens to his breathing, asks him to show his tongue. He takes his time. He makes the patient feel like he actually mattered. The patient leaves, feeling heard, feeling genuinely cared for. He tells everyone what a great doctor, he was so thorough, he checked everything. And here's the kicker. The second doctor might give him the exact same simple medicine, but because his method showed respect and care, the patient trusts him, and he believes in the cure. So what's the big takeaway from both of these stories? It's this. People don't just react to the information you're giving them. They react to the way you make them feel. It is not the message, it's the method. There's a fantastic word in Hindi for this, tariqa. It's so much more than just a technique. It's your personal style. It's the care you put into your process, the empathy in your voice, the thought behind your presentation. It's the how that actually gives your what its real power. At the end of the day, the world doesn't just reward you for being right. It rewards you for being effective. And being effective, that comes from having a great method. Your how is what builds trust, it's what shows respect, and it's what allows your truth and your expertise to actually land. So this is all great, but how do we apply this to our own lives? Well, it's not about memorizing a script or faking it. It's about looking inward and focusing on what makes you, you. So it's time for a little honest self-reflection. Ask yourself, what is my method? Think about how you handle conversations, how you approach your work, how you show up in your relationships. Is your how as strong and as thoughtful as your what? The real key here is to first figure out that one excellent thing that is your core strength, your superpower, the thing you do better than almost anyone. Once you know what that is, you can start to build a method around it, a way of doing things that puts that amazing strength on full display. And that leads us to the final question I want to leave you with today. Don't just think about what your strength is. I want you to ask yourself, how does my method, my personal way of doing things, showcase that strength to the world? Because when your how finally lines up perfectly with your best what, that's when you really start to make an impact.